If Pirates of the Caribbean 6 brings back Johnny Depp, it must be as the real Jack Sparrow. Pirates of the Caribbean has been deliberating on another movie for almost a decade now. But if the notorious Jack Sparrow is to return, his characterization must be written with more precision than it has been for the past few movies. Pirates of the Caribbean 6 has been rumored since shortly after the release of Pirates of the Caribbean. Dead Men Tell No Tales in 2017, with occasional updates from longtime producer Jerry Bruckheimer to assure us that it is still confirmed. Disney has been less upfront about whether the separate Margot Robbie's Pirates of the Caribbean is still happening. Despite Bruckheimer's confidence, the fifth Pirates of the Caribbean movie marked an all-time low for the franchise with its reception, proving that something needs to be revamped for the series to carry on and get anywhere near its previous success. The strange premise of a movie based on a theme park ride shocked everyone back in 2003 when it turned out to be a wonderfully classic and well-acted adventure, all led by the persona of Captain Jack Sparrow, who was quite unlike anything we had ever seen before. However, his character declined after this first installment, illustrating the necessary conditions for Johnny Depp's return. The Jack Sparrow we met in Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, was bizarre, but still oddly aware, convincing the audience that he really could weasel his way out of anything, and earning Johnny Depp a rare action-based Oscar nomination. However, with each sequel, it seemed more and more like Jack was just drunkenly stumbling his way through the plot and surviving by virtue of being the main character. The writers put him in increasingly ludicrous situations that leaned more into the wacky comedy side of his personality, which started to overtake his shrewdness. This is at its worst in Dead Men Tell No Tales, which has Jack comically overacting to almost everything with complete cluelessness. While it wasn't a fatal issue before this, the slow downslide is perceivable in the intervening movies. Dead Man's Chest and At World's End depict Jack as still being capable and manipulative, but are already starting to rely on the comedy of him being in over his head and then getting out of danger anyway, while On Stranger Tides made the mistake of softening his character through his romance with Penelope Cruz's Angelica. It's still unclear if Johnny Depp will be returning to the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, a possibility that certainly elicits groans from some potential viewers. The only way this would not be to the detriment of the movie is if Jack is much more like his real self, his eccentricities balanced with a certain grounded determination and an undoubtable skill. In the first movie, Jack is ruthless, willing to cheat and kill the other heroes for his own survival. He is also played with an air of mystery, so other characters can't write him off as just being mad or drunk. Additionally, the crazy things he says, like telling Elizabeth it never would have worked out, and complimenting Will's hat, seem more like a conscious choice to throw people off. This is the portrayal that Depp would need to return to if he is to have any hope of being warmly welcomed back by the audience and actually helping the movie. It's maybe possible to flip Jack into being a wise mentor figure, confusing a younger generation with his schemes. But it also might be too late when it's implausible for his character to change again in this way. The conclusion many audiences and critics are coming to is that it's simply time for Pirates of the Caribbean to move on from Jack Sparrow. The franchise keeps trying to resuscitate a character who has become stale, while the movies overall reveal a lack of original ideas, other than bogging things down with more convoluted supernatural lore. Starting fresh and centering the story around a new peculiar main character would completely change the nature of Pirates of the Caribbean and might turn out to be the shock to the system that the franchise needs. Truthfully, Margot Robbie stood the best chance of playing a character who could be likened to Jack Sparrow but was still singular, with the star's history of playing eccentric figures like Harley Quinn and Barbie. Older Pirates of the Caribbean characters could perhaps have taken up the mantle, or Jerry Bruckheimer could turn to any number of talented Hollywood names for something new. The story itself is tired of Jack, And barring a miraculous character turn that allows him to become as riveting as he once was, the franchise will be better off without him.